It's been years since I allowed myself to say this out loud. Even longer since I let the memories in without pushing them back into the corners of my mind where I buried them. But lately, I've felt this tightening in my chest that won't go away, like a whisper in the dark saying, "It's time. Time to speak. Time to heal. Time to tell the truth." My name is Eliza, and I was the youngest of 5 children, 4 older brothers and me. People always said I was lucky. So many big brothers to protect you, they'd smile. But protection isn't always what it seems. Sometimes the ones who are supposed to protect you become the very thing you need protection from. We grew up in a small, forgotten town nestled between mountains and silence. My father left before I could walk, and my mother, God rest her soul, worked double shifts at the diner just to keep the lights on. That left my brothers to raise me, or more accurately, to mold me. During the day, life was almost normal. We had cereal for breakfast, walked to school together, fought over chores, and watched cartoons huddled in the same worn-out blanket. But it was the nights, after the world had gone quiet, that everything changed. I must have been around 12 when the darkness began to shift for me. I remember it clearly because it was the summer after our mother got sick. She was coughing up blood, frail and tired, and the doctor said the cancer had spread too far. She died quietly one morning while I was brushing my hair. I didn't even get to say goodbye. That night, after the neighbors had gone and the casseroles were packed into the fridge, my brothers sat in a tight circle in the living room, whispering with urgency. The oldest, Marcus, was 19 at the time. Strong, stubborn, and always acting like he carried the world on his shoulders. Then came Jared, 18, quiet but sharp. Troy was 16, full of anger and mischief. And Daniel, barely 14, always trying to prove he belonged with the older ones. I was sitting on the stairs, watching them through the banister. I remember how their faces looked, hardened, like they had made a decision that would change everything. I didn't know then that they had. Later that night, Marcus came into my room. His voice was soft, almost too calm. "We need you, Lizzie," he said. "It's time for you to step up." Step up? I was 12. What did that even mean? He took me outside into the woods behind our house. My brothers were already there, standing in a circle around something. As I got closer, I saw it was a cage, rusted and cold. Inside was a wounded raccoon, shivering and afraid. "We found it raiding the trash," Troy said, tossing a rock at the cage. "It's sick, diseased, just like the world." "Kill it," Marcus ordered. I blinked. "What?" He handed me a hammer. "We have to toughen you up. Mom's gone. No one's coming to save us. We survive or we die. There's no middle ground anymore." I stared at the hammer, my heart pounding so loud I thought it would explode. "I can't," I whispered. Marcus leaned in close. "You will." And I did. Not because I wanted to, but because I was terrified of what would happen if I didn't. I was 12, and my brothers were giants. That night, something inside me cracked. A small piece of my innocence died with that animal. But it wouldn't be the last. Every night after that, they'd take me out into the woods. Some nights it was to test my endurance, making me run barefoot until my feet bled. Other nights, they forced me to stand in the cold creek for hours, just to toughen me up. They told me it was all training, that the world outside was cruel, and I needed to be prepared. But it wasn't training, it was control. Marcus created rules. We weren't allowed to speak about the night activities. Not at school. Not to friends. Not even to each other. "What happens after dark stays in the dark," he'd say. At school, I smiled. I got good grades. I pretended I had a normal family. No one ever questioned anything. Teachers praised my resilience. Friends admired my strength. But inside, I was unraveling. One night, when I was 13, they took me deeper into the woods than ever before. "We're going hunting," Jared said. But there was no hunting gear. Just a shovel. They brought me to a place where the trees thinned out and the moonlight spilled onto the ground like silver. There was a hole already dug. Shallow. Empty. "Get in," Marcus said. I shook my head, panic rising in my chest.
No.
But Troy pushed me, and I fell in. They buried me. Not fully, just up to my shoulders. I couldn't move. I could barely breathe. Then they left me there. It's a test, Daniel whispered, avoiding my eyes. To see how long you can last. I lay there all night. Bugs crawling over my skin, the damp soil pressing against my chest, fear consuming every part of me. When morning came, they came back and dug me out like it was nothing. Like it was normal. That's when I realized this wasn't just about survival. This was about power.